When I first heard we had to do this personal project, I had no clue what I wanted to do. Just thinking about it was like one of those questions people always ask me, like where I wanted to go to college or what career I wanted. But one day, it just clicked. I remember I was always so fascinated about film projects in middle school. I was so excited to turn a story in my head and turn it onto the screen. Therefore, I wanted to do cinematography. Because when I started my own YouTube channel in the 9th grade, that helped me guide, since I realized I didn't want to do vlog type videos.
You're not my personal taxi, you cannot take me the way I want to go.
We're going downstairs either way.
But I want to go that way though.
Yeah, school's that.
But more of a scripted content.
Okay.
Anyway, ready for senior year?
What?
Therefore, I set my goal to improve in my cinematography skills and hope by the end start filming my own series.
Found out I didn't have a date, she wouldn't have let me go.
I knew from the start this project was going to be tied with identities and relations, since now I see film production as being a potential career of mine. And that's great because I was really lost with my future, but now I see more clearly. Also, throughout this project I had to communicate with other people, like when it came to talking to extras, location scouting, my crew, and especially my actors. I had to connect with them, make them understand what I want them to feel and the emotions they needed to express.
I'm only a reference because she's my girlfriend.
No, it's because you're the one that's
You're the only person here that can actually explain to her what she's supposed to do to
because
Robert.
Chris is over there doing it.
Yeah.
But before I could start filming, I needed a script and a story to tell. When it came to research, my first question was how to write a screenplay. I found this amazing website called Writer Store that had everything I needed, from the layout to explaining me some of the terminology. This was a good thing, because most of what I found were how to write playwrights, not screenplays, and those are two different things. Since in a screenplay, there are certain rules to write a script, like dialogue is in the center, and there's a ruler size that you need to follow as well. Also, for the right side of the script is for camera work and editing techniques needed on the film, and the left side is the setting and the action of the character. Afterwards, I researched on YouTube different types of filming, lights, and editing techniques. I need to know this before I wrote my script because I had to know transition and camera work to include on the right side of the script. So I searched and searched, and at the end I found this really helpful channel. And I watched hours without end. This guy's channel name was DSLR Guy. He taught me a lot about lighting, camera work, colors, sound, beginner tips, but the number one most important piece of information I got from him was, in filmmaking, there is no rules. I tried to find other resources that were as good as his, but he was just too good at explaining and expressing his knowledge in a clear manner. One of the biggest messages he said that really impacted my directing was, in his video, Tips for Beginning Directors.
So collaborating can be a bit of a struggle. Sometimes people have suggestions that are completely different from our original plan, but then as you think it over, you realise that actually that achieves what we were trying to achieve with the scene better than my original plan. So you take the best idea wherever it comes from. So a huge part of the director's role is to find these people who can kind of get on the same page as us without needing us to explain every single little detail. And of course the big one is finding people who actually enjoy working with, people who you enjoy spending time with, because that just naturally makes the whole experience on the set a lot nicer, a lot better, which will no doubt influence the final product.
As DSLR gave me a lot of knowledge for filmmaking, but what gave me a lot of the resources was YouTube themselves. With YouTube Academy always sending me emails with resources and tips, I had opportunity to improve my contact with Creator Studios. In there, they gave me an audio library, video editor, and copyright law. This made my hunt for sound a lot quicker. Since sound is one of the major aspects of filmmaking, I also bought a shotgun mic and used the broken selfie stick as a fishbowl. As well, I purchased a tripod and 2 fluorescent lights because I wanted to make a professional film, not an amateur. After all this research, I started to write my script. My first vision was to be all about a girl who was dealing with the struggles of coming out as bisexual. But I realized that was too overproduced. My second idea was even more related to my situation, which was dealing with growing up as a teenager into adulthood. Therefore, I started typing, keeping the first episode to be about the main character Veronica just coming out to her friends in the freshman year of high school.
Fine, I'll stop. Only because you're so adorable when you're worried.
Thank you.
That being her first step in growing up and being true to herself. Then after the opening theme, I will have her exiting the classroom with text expressing 3 years later, introducing her friend Jay.
Sorry, my phone broke. Should I keep a brick in your bra and tell me how that goes?
Wow, the sass today is uncanny.
And her girlfriend Robin.
Guess who?
Jennifer Santos?
No. Well, we had a good run.
With having their first conversation on screen to be talking about her fear of her sister knowing.
Especially if you figure out that your date was a girl.
Shut up. How many times do I have to tell you? Not at school. If we get caught, they're going to tell my sister.
Then ending with Veronica leaving to church group because I want to show how she also has a religious side.
Shoot.
She's not just a character who is just their sexuality, but a normal person. Then I had the script proofread and ready to be filmed, but I did some practice trials with my filming and see how the setting of an actual set is before I officially started filming. The outcome for the Christmas themed sketch came very well for what I had left in the cloud.
Nice try. I know big Santa when I see one.
No, it's me, Dad.
Oh, sorry, Dad.
If it wasn't for my computer crashing and deleting all my files, I would have had a lot more shots to practice with. But with that, I learned that I have to back up my files. Now my files are saved on an online storage called Mega. But that wasn't the only practice I had. I also filmed and edited some of my friends' video reports. With their reports being about exercise, I had some practice with mounting a camera on my body and moving around with it. Even with all this, I had practice building a storyboard because it's more efficient if you draw your vision on paper, which is exactly what I did with my history report, and the video turned out great.
From that point, the site started to get used as a trading post. Goods coming from regions all over, like Songhai, Wangara, Arabs, and many.
I didn't lose track of what I was drawing. I did this as well for my script. Looking for good angles and drawing the setting helped, but I needed to get some actors so I knew how my camera angles were gonna affect them. Originally, I had a complete set of actors, but some have been changed due to complications or schedule not meeting up. After weeks of canceling, we finally had time to film my series. I tried to stay on track as hard as I could. One of the ways I had was reminders telling me to do stuff, but I wouldn't forget. I kept everything as organized as possible, just like my equipment bag, which had all the tools I needed, which were my SD card, tripod, extension cord, charger, cameras, fluorescent light, and shotgun mic. With all this, I was ready to film, as my first priority was filming the locker scene, since I needed to decorate the locker, and that is where I have most of my equipment stored. Once I had that ready and set it up the set, I went to the actor's trailer, which is actually my math teacher's classroom. That is where my actors put their makeup on and where my crew members wait. For my crew, I had them on the fishpole, and I had to teach them how to use it properly. In order to get the best sound as possible, which is by twisting the pole to the side of the actor who is speaking, not moving it side to side. When filming, I had to direct them to lower the mic as low as possible, but without getting into the shot. That came out really great. It rarely got onto the shot, except for the times we had to do the one take. But it was okay.
With your girlfriend. By the way, how did that go? Did you guys have?
One of the challenges we faced was getting on task, because if someone forgot their line, we all started laughing, which is good to have a laugh, but if it takes more than 5 minutes to start, it was really frustrating.
Wait, what did he say?
You are not scared of. Calm down, please.
You are not scared of either.
I know, but
I noticed that sometimes it was good to let some improv happen, because when Veronica and Jay were talking, there was some added dialogue. It came out so much better than if we stayed on script.
For being your decoy homecoming day.
Thank you. Me and Robin really appreciate that.
Which is something I learned to do when I was researching, that being open-minded to new ideas could lead to better things, and that me, my crew, and actors are all part of one big team. Therefore, after one day of filming, I took the footage that we filmed and started watching them and saved them into certain categories. As you can see, I try to keep everything as organized as possible, to having every single type of file in their detailed folder, to type of genre, to the type of mood. This is what made my life so much easier when it came to editing. Even for this report, there were multiple folders. Once I had all the footage for my scenes, I opened iMovie and I started on a new project. I put all the footage one by one. I wrote down on my journal what clip it was and wrote down every time there was a blooper and a BTS footage for my report. When I looked through the footage, I cut all the parts that were important and then continued with the rest of the footage. Afterwards, I had to watch all the scenes and chose the best clip for the scene. Then, using the best shot and fixing the sound, the scene is done. But that's when I start fixing the filter and transition. Afterwards, I rewatch it and see for touch-ups, and I go to get a second opinion by sending some of my friends the clip and hear their opinions. Most of the feedback was very positive. Just a bit of it was about the acting that can be improved, and some of the color corrections will be needed. But it's what I need to make my film as best as possible. Even though I have a lot more to do to finish the series, the process I took to get where I am now was very helpful to give me a clear understanding how this profession will take work, and a lot of collaboration. With this opportunity, I had to be balanced with my project and school, open-minded with new ideas,
Thank you. Me and Robin really appreciate that.
thinker for my script, principal for set production, inquirer for my research, reflective for this report, knowledgeable to be able to teach others, risk taker to get what I want, caring for helping others, and the most important of all, communicators. With my mentor, teacher, crew members, extras, actor, and you, the viewer, who are the only reason I want to share my work and give you the story to enjoy and share to others. My name is Brian Morales Madrid, and this is my personal project.